Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the 3 Minute Horror Show. I'm joined again by Brandon from the YouTube channel Brandon vs. Movies, and we're going to do more analysis of the Leprechaun movies. We've got three to go. Today we're going to do Leprechaun 6 Back to the Hood. It's pretty crazy. It's not necessarily as crazy as the last one that we did, the Leprechaun in the Hood, but this one is directed by a guy named Stephen Irom Louis. I believe is how you pronounce the name, but I really don't have any idea. We're back to the hood, as the title of the movie states. It's Leprechaun Back 2, is in the number 2, THA Hood, spelled in a very 90s way, although this was 2003. And Brandon, why don't you kick us off with Leprechaun Back to the Hood?
I think this one is a step up from the last one. I like this one better. The story just makes more sense. The last one was all over the place, and like we said, the last one was it started off as not a Leprechaun movie, and they just shoehorned the Leprechaun in. So they took a
Hmm.
movie and then put the Leprechaun in a few scenes. Bam, you got a Leprechaun movie. This one kind of made more sense. This one was darker.
Yeah.
This one was more horror. The last one seemed more comedy. Even the leprechaun himself looked more evil in this one. There was something I can't quite put my finger on it, but I don't know if they just put more makeup on, but he looked slightly different. Like there was just
Hmm.
more gruesomeness to his face. He didn't seem to do the wisecracking as much as
Oh,
the as we've seen before. Overall, it was just a darker tone.
yeah.
But overall, I liked it better than the last one. The last one I found got kind of boring for quite a bit of it. This one, it has its flaws and just some things that don't make sense. But the kills were a little bit better. And overall, I just found it was just a better movie all around. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was a better movie. It's definitely a step up from the last one. We don't reach the heights that we did with maybe three or four, but or two rather, two or three. But it's not abysmal like the last one was. This one is quite a step up. It does seem like the Leprechaun is more gruesome. There is some really silly humor in, some really cringy humor in this that we'll get to when we get to it. But there's something that I wonder if it. Okay, I'll go to it right now. Juggalos get around using the N word, as most of the juggalos that are very popular in popular rap groups are white. They get around saying the N word by saying ninja. And they started doing that in this movie. I wonder if this is where they got it from. Because they're all doing it in this movie. Even the leprechaun. Leprechaun says too. He gets up at one point, says, "What's up, my ninjas?" It's really cringy. It's kind of terrible.
Yeah, I don't know why that was even in there.
Yeah.
I was alive at that time.
Yeah.
I was a young adult at that time. I don't remember that being a thing though, and now it's like I don't. I think people would be like, what the hell is that?" It's kind of
Yeah.
offensive, but it's kind of stupid. I like
I
they.
mean,
Why was that even in there?
just changing the word doesn't make it less offensive. The intention is still there.
Yeah, like why say that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm pretty sure the Juggalos do that. The Insane Clown Posse guys. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure that they say that all the time. I could be wrong though. Don't come after me, Juggalos. But I'm pretty sure I've heard it quite a bit. This one starts off with a fun animation about leprechauns, and if it were made in this day and age, that would have been probably Gen AI. But the animation was really cool. It was a pencil art style. I liked it a lot, and they even threw in a fun Wilhelm scream in there, telling the story about leprechauns. But
yeah.
the story is interesting because in this story, there's only one bad leprechaun. All the rest are great. There's one bad one, and that must be the one that we're dealing with all these times.
Yeah, it kind of it gets confusing because for one, they wait till part six before they give the leprechaun's origin.
Yeah.
But then they followed up with a movie that we'll talk about next time called Leprechaun Origins,
Oh,
which is a different origin and has nothing to do with the other one. So it gets kind of weird. But yeah, they're implying that we've been dealing with one leprechaun the entire time. We've discussed this before. That well, if he kind of seems to have different origins between one and two,
yeah.
and he gets killed, so it must be a different one. But apparently, it's not because according to I think there's comic books or something on his wiki page, His name is Lubden. Lubden.
Lubden. Okay. Hmm.
So that means that we've only been dealing with one this entire time. But it also doesn't make sense because in part four, he's like an alien from space in the
Yeah.
future. So is that the same one, or are they just all named Lubden?
It's
It
so
gets
weird.
confusing. But all that aside, I did like that opening animation. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're trying
It's
something
cool.
new. It's got some creativity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we notice almost immediately there's a big good versus evil battle going on. There's a priest. The whole premise of this movie is that a priest was trying to create a youth center to rehabilitate the neighborhood that he serves. And he did so by finding a leprechaun's gold. Now, unfortunately, as we know, leprechauns want their gold back. They don't want their gold to be spent on youth centers. So, we start off in this movie with the battle between this priest and Lubden the leprechaun. Apparently, his name is Lubden. And we see that he's got another new power, something that we've never seen before. His he can sense where his gold is by fabricating a rainbow. So he can create a rainbow that will lead him to his gold, which very odd. We've never seen it before. And also, we learn a little bit later on that he can traverse time or traverse space rather through this rainbow. He can use it to teleport, like Thor in the Rainbow Road. You know how like Thor just the rainbow hits the ground and then Thor's there? Same goes with this leprechaun. How come he's never done it until now?
Yeah, that's the thing about these movies is that his powers seem to come and go at will.
Hmm.
He'll suddenly have these magical powers, but then in the next scene, there's a time where he could use those very powers, but instead he won't, and then he'll get shot or something and fall down. Where it's like, why don't you use your magical powers to put the guy in handcuffs? Or
Yeah.
it just changes every movie, which is fine. You go
Yeah.
into these Leprechaun movies with a certain sense of you're just gonna have to take it as it is and have fun with it because it's not. If you try to make too much sense, it's just not gonna happen.
You're just gonna end up tearing your hair out like I did. See, that's why I've got so few of it. So little of it. Um, we notice also that this movie is a victim of a slightly lower budget than maybe some of the others. Four, we saw it a lot too with the computer effects that they used, but any sort of CGI in this movie is really chunky, pixely, like it really looks pretty bad. And that's just unfortunate that they couldn't continue to get decent funding with these movies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think maybe it's just the way I saw it, but this one looked like it had more of a budget than the last one. It just looked
Oh, maybe.
better. That maybe that's my opinion. I could be wrong. But so basically, in this one, and also I hate this in the movie. Every character is annoying. Like
Yeah.
they seem to mistake being annoying with being funny. Just every character is just like grown. Give me a break. Like all their jokes are just stupid. The characters are just annoying. But they basically a couple of them go to this like psychic who warns them that you're going to come across some financial windfall, some sort of a lot of money, but don't accept it because it'll bring about evil and all this stuff. So they end up finding this like treasure chest, small treasure chest of gold that was left where the leprechaun was defeated by the priest.
Yeah.
The thing that doesn't make sense about it, which never happened before, is that they soon find out that this chest regenerates gold.
Yeah.
So every time you close it and open it, it'll be full of gold again. You can dump it out, close it, open it, it's full of gold again. So it can create an infinite amount of gold. If
Infinite
that's the
money
case,
hack, as the kids would say.
so so why does the leprechaun care if anyone has his gold? Because it used to be he had 100 pieces and he would count them, and if
Yeah.
even one was missing, he would go hunting for it. But now, if this thing can generate a bunch of gold, who cares if someone else has it for an hour or two and gets their own gold?
Yeah.
Just take the chest back and you could have it. So it doesn't make sense why he would be so pissed off that they took his gold. His gold would be made worthless because it's you can make an infinite amount.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Um, yeah. All the characters are annoying except for one, and the one who is the least reprehensible of the bunch is the one who is one of the few who gets killed in this movie. There aren't a whole lot of deaths.
Yeah,
It's got the most surviving main characters of any of the movies so far, definitely.
yeah, and they do. There's things here we've seen before. Like I think it's more original than the last one. I think they just had more money to do the kills.
Hmm.
But the whole scene with the woman laying on the massage table, and then the
Yeah.
massage therapist leaves, and the leprechaun comes in, starts massaging her. I've seen that in so many movies, like from
Yeah.
comedies to horror. Um, it's just I can't think of a single one off the top of my head, but I know I've seen it a whole
Yeah.
lot of times, even recently. That's not a new scene.
But
Um,
did you see a small leprechaun running on a large woman's back?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, how would you not know? Like, how could you mistake a leprechaun like running on your back to a human being's hands? I don't, it's ridiculous. But honestly, it was still a fun scene, and that's the
Yeah.
thing with these movies, you could forgive a lot as long as they're just putting some effort into making it entertaining. But
Yeah.
sometimes they really test my patience. Just the characters are annoying, and this one it was just darker. Like they tried to make this one. It had some amusing, funny stuff,
Mm.
but it was mostly the characters talking. Like the stuff that was happening, it was more serious, more
Yeah.
horror, more dark.
The bong scene went on for way too long when the leprechaun discovered what it's like to smoke a bong, and it continued on, and there was some slapstick stuff with him getting stuck in a fridge and all that sort of thing, but they really drew that joke out too long.
Yeah, he gets high and he's walking around stoned, and he's
Yeah.
in the kitchen, and there's another guy in the kitchen who's like preparing a sandwich or something, and it's like a Three Stooges skit where the leprechaun's bumping into something and the other guy doesn't notice he's there, and he'll open the fridge door and knock the leprechaun down,
Mm.
and it's not that funny, and it's yeah, like
Because
yeah,
he's got the munchies, you see. We
yeah,
get our one of our main characters, who's set up to be one of the heroes of this movie, is definitely not a hero. His name is Rory. He was a bad boyfriend and a drug dealer, and he just gets worse as the movie goes on. But for some reason, he's set up as the main. I guess the hero is the girl Emily. The name's Emily, right? Yeah, Emily. I kept getting confused, thinking it was Erica, but it was Emily. Um, Emily's ex-boyfriend, and he just sucked. And they set him up to be the big hero of the movie, and he was terrible.
yeah. I don't know if they were trying to make him some kind of like anti-hero or make some statement about him trying to redeem himself or something, but
Mm.
yeah, he wasn't a good guy.
It was funny how quickly these guys had really high hopes and moral ways that they were going to spend this gold. And then the very next scene, they were just all being pieces of shit with the money that they had. Like going for spending sprees on Rodeo Drive, and Rory became he didn't just he graduated from being a regular drug dealer to being a super drug dealer. And the Jamie guy, who the comic relief of the movie, um, ended up buying just all of the marijuana that you could possibly buy. This guy. He was pretty
But
funny though.
really, you figure if you just have like an infinite amount of gold, like, and also wouldn't, not to really push how ridiculous that is, but how do you buy things with just a ton of gold? Like
Yeah,
you have to exchange that into. You can't just go to a Best Buy with
yeah.
like a sack of gold. Like you have to exchange that for dollars. Like it's a it's really hard to believe. But they can really do anything they want. So
Mhm.
what they choose to spend their money on, if they have an infinite amount, like it doesn't make sense when you put it up to scrutiny.
You got to think too, if they go to the same pawn shop over and over and over again to trade these coins in, this guy's going to see how many of them there are, and the price is going to start going down and
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
right? One person does make a gold tooth out of one of the gold coins, which can very conveniently gets ripped out of her mouth later. But she's a
yeah,
side character, and she's not cool anyway. She's terrible, but they're all kind of terrible, really. But
yeah.
yeah, the kills are a lot gnarlier in this one for sure,
Yeah,
like you
I
were
think they
saying.
had a bit more. They weren't the last one. They had to kind of have some off camera. They really got it cheaped out. That's
Yeah.
why I think this one might have had a bit more money, just
Okay.
because there were they put more effort into it. They're a bit more gory.
And the rapper that they chose for this one probably didn't have as high of a price tag as Ice-T did.
Who
So
was
they
it?
had it was one of the members of Watson's gang, of the gang of bad guys, the gang of gangbangers, was Sticky Fingers from Onyx.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Those
I don't
guys
even
who
know who
did
that is. So,
Slam, do 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 do. Those guys. He's one of them.
oh,
Him
okay.
and his brother were acting in things in the 2000s.
Yeah, if I've never heard of him, then he's probably not part of popular culture enough to. have a huge price tag.
Right. So were able to spend more money on the kills because he
Yeah,
cost a lot less. Very conveniently, in some of the weed that Jesse buys, there's some four-leaf clover in it. So put
yeah,
that in your
you
memory banks for later.
yeah. I think that's a bit of foreshadowing there,
Yeah.
a very obvious foreshadowing. But that does bring up one of my favorite parts of this movie is the whole ending. I thought was very good.
Yeah.
They they figure out they're going to put these four leaf clovers into the bullets and then shoot the leprechaun with it. And there's quite a big scene. They're fighting on a rooftop. They shoot him, but then like the gun jams, and
Yeah.
then um, Emily ends up luring the leprechaun into the furnace room, where she throws his gold into the furnace and then kicks him inside, lock him, and he burns.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the end of it, but no, he
Hmm.
comes back. I guess the only reason I thought possibly it wasn't the ending is because they foreshadowed the wet concrete at the bottom of the building, and I'm like,
Oh,
he's gonna fall into the wet concrete.
I didn't even notice them foreshadowing that. Oh, I should
So when
have.
they threw him into the furnace, I thought, okay, maybe it's done, but I'm like, I bet you he might come back. So,
And
and of
then
course he did, and but so there was some twists and turns there that he just reappears and they fight him again. They really put some effort into that final scene. I thought it was pretty good, for
he's
a
surfing
Leprechaun
on the
movie.
rainbow at the end there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was definitely a step up from the last one. That
and
is
this was
for
the last one to feature Warwick Davis.
yeah, it sure was. And he didn't do any rhyming in this one. There was no rhymes.
Yeah, yeah, it was. He was more. I think they tried to take him more seriously in this one,
Hmm.
which I think is a mistake because part of his fun is just hearing him say his funny little rhyming things.
Yeah, he had some really serious dramatic deliveries too in the speeches between him and Emily. Like he said some like, he got to exercise his dramatic chops.
Yeah,
Hmm. So what did you think of this one overall?
I can't remember what I scored the Leprechaun in the Hood, but I would give this one like a six, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? I'm of the same mind. I gave Leprechaun in the Hood 4, but I give this one a 6. I think this
Yeah,
one was a lot better. Still not perfect, but a lot better than the last one. And he miles and miles ahead of the next one that we're going to talk about.
yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
we'll talk
God.
when we get there.
All right, folks, that brings us to the end of our discussion of Leprechaun Back to the Hood, THA. I hope that you'll join us next time for Leprechaun Origins, which is a train wreck, so you can hear us make fun of it for 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see how long it goes. Um, Remember that you can subscribe to both of us by clicking the subscribe button at the bottom of this video. You can subscribe to us both at the same time there. They appear right on top of each other. It takes just a couple seconds. You can subscribe to as many people as you want, and it doesn't cost you any money at all. And then you'll get notifications when we put out new videos about film analysis that we do and the other bullshit that we get up to on our channels. So please join us next time, everyone. Bye.